Today we're going to be looking at the Steam Tuners Insider, the Vapeshell from Atmazoo, and the KRMA Bridge by Mission XV. Looking at the Steam Tuners Insider first, this is a second-hand one, so excuse the fact that the box is looking a bit ratty, but we've got a logo on one side and a QR code on the other. Opening up the box, you can see that we've got the bridge itself, another chimney, and another airflow control. Now my one is second-hand, so I don't know if more came with it. However, I have got a spare couple of post screws and an O-ring. It does come with a white and a black airflow control ring. This is the Insider itself. I was a little bit concerned because it didn't have a stamp on the barrel there. However, I did speak to the Steam Tuners guys and they told me that it is legit, and it's actually the first run of Insiders didn't actually have a stamp on the barrel. If you were to buy one now, you would have a Steam Tuners logo engraved onto it. Now the two chimney sections you can see do have different bores. One is designed for mouth to lung and the other is designed for direct to lung, or a restricted direct to lung. The barrel screws off the deck, revealing a two-post deck, pretty small as you would expect, with quite a large airflow hole going in the middle of that, coming directly up underneath the coil. Fairly chunky screws for something this small as well, so if you've got your little Phillips screwdriver you can really make sure you've got some good tightness going on with those coil legs. You can see the wick holes going down the sides there as well, where the cutouts are, and it is slightly chamfered to stop any hard edges on your wick. Unscrewing the black airflow control ring reveals a regular 510, so you can check your resistance when building. 4 airflow holes going around the outside, and obviously they're controlled with that black AFC. To be honest, I don't see any difference between these airflow control rings, but other than the colour obviously, so I guess it would depend if you want it to match your Boro tank or not. Going in for a close-up, we can see the quality of the machining on this. Even though this is an older device now, it is still in really good condition. You can see those wicking holes going down the side there as well, showing you how much space you've got for wicking. The threads are very smooth indeed. Definitely got somewhat of a smiling clown face on it. I find this works best with a 2.5 or smaller coil. Now we have the Vapeshell by Atmazoo. Opening up the box, you can see a real simple packaging there, where you've got the Vapeshell and the adapter for being able to pop it on to test your build. Inside the packaging, we've got an Atmazoo sticker, your airflow restrictor plugs, so you can pop them in the deck and have different levels of restriction going directly to your coil. They call these airflow tuning pins and will give you a 2mm, 2.5, 3 and 3.5mm diameter airflow. With no pin in at all, you'll have a 4mm airflow going through there. There's also a couple of spare post screws as well. You can see the engraving on the outside. You've got Vapeshell at the bottom, you've got the Atmazoo logo above it, and then on the chimney itself you've got the serial number. The airflow control ring works in the same way as we saw on the Insider, but you do have slightly larger holes underneath there. Pulling the deck apart, it's just held together by pressure. You can see that we've got the adapter around the positive pin, and my one could do with some time in an ultrasonic cleaner by the looks of it. Each of the e-liquid intake holes, or the juice holes, are 2.5mm, but with the Vapeshell, when you're wicking it, rather than trying to get your wick through the holes, the best thing to do is to sit your wick on top of those holes. The plugs to reduce the airflow slip in nice and easily and are pretty simple to get out, but you probably will need a pair of pliers. To check the resistance on your coil, they do give you this little extra jobby, and all you've got to do is screw that onto the base of your bridge. Then you can screw that into a mod or a coil reader. Make sure that your resistance is exactly where you want it to be and you're not shorting out on the inside. Because it's quite a low roof on the inside of that build deck, it does mean you want to make sure that you're not touching the underside of it. Finally, we've got the Mission XVII KRMA bridge. Coming in the Mission packaging, it's sort of this see-through baggy kind of affair, and in there we've got a bright pink little bit of foam to hold the bridge. We've also got a bunch of spares as well. We've got the authenticity card. This one does also have some plugs, although they call them airflow discs on this one. And these are 1mm, 1.5, 2mm, 2.5 and 3mm. So you've got a fair range of sizes there, going down to a real mouse along 1mm, going through to a fairly reasonable 3mm. Then we have 4 extra grub screws and an Allen key. The bridge itself is quite standout in its design. You've got the knurling around the chimney. You do also have the Mission XVII logo, as well as the Mission name on the back side of it. Underneath the logo, you do have the serial number of your bridge as well. This is another press fit jobby, and you do actually have a reasonable amount of space and height to be able to place your coil nice and safely. Now, when you pull apart the barrel from the deck, you'll find that you do actually have a little V carved out of the deck itself, and a matching sort of male aspect of it on the barrel, so you can make sure that you are placing it correctly and where it should be. You also have some cutouts on the posts that make trimming your coil legs a little bit easier and helps you get nice and close as well. This one is finished incredibly well, and one of the things that it's got is I think this one's got the largest juice cutouts as well of the ones that we're looking at today. Which do I prefer? Well, the Steam Tuners Insider is around about €115 if you buy it now, and that's nearly 3 years old. The Atmazu Vapeshell is around €60 and pounds and is around 2 years old, and the KRMA Bridge is about €109 and came out at the end of last year. Now, personally, I find that the Steam Tuners, whether it be because it's older or not, is less sociable when it comes to wicking heavier VG juices, but that obviously is going to be dependent on how you wick it. But I also find it a bit louder than the other two offerings. Now, the Atmazu Vapeshell was fantastic, coming in at around about £60. It was a much cheaper option than the Insider, is easier to build arguably, and wicks incredibly well, which I find super helpful, particularly if you're using a higher VG juice. Now, the KRMA Bridge is back up to that over €100 price mark, but is currently my favourite bridge that I use in my billet box, and that's because I find it easy to build, I find it easy to wick, and I find the overall quality, in as much as a nice, smooth and reasonably quiet vape, a lot more pleasing than some of the other two. But my favourites would be the KRMA Bridge, followed by the Vapeshell, followed by the Insider. Now, obviously, a lot of people are loving the Zeta at the moment. Now, that's not something that I do have, but that one does get a hell of a lot of love on social media, and I look forward to trying it out at some point in time. But check out Mark Todd's review on the Zeta. I know he's had a great deal of experience with them. That's my thoughts on the bridges. Hopefully that's helped you with a little bit of information about how they work and why they work, and that'll give you some ideas for moving forward.